You have something called the Article 1 Regulatory Budget Act that you've filed this week. What is, get us into what this is going to do towards the out-of-control bureaucracy in D.C.?
Well, I think this is something that's probably near and dear to your heart that you really relate to. You talk about this sort of thing a lot. And as you know, the Constitution, which we're so far afield from that, and it almost seems idealistic and naive to talk about the Constitution when you talk about the federal government, you talk about the Congress. But Article 1, as you know, gives the power, the legislative power specifically to the Congress to make laws and to make regulations, and we see we're so far afield from that with what's happening with the regulatory agencies, the unelected bureaucrats that are doing it. So we're going to be rolling out a series of legislation that just addresses government waste, government inefficiency, government run amok, and the first one that we just introduced is Article 1, the Regulatory Budget Act, and again, it's going to attack the government waste, the enormous costs that the federal regulations have on taxpayers, families, small businesses. Trump administration, this is just one more example, as you know, where we have done an about-face, 180-degree turn from the very positive things of the previous administration, and we've just turned that around, flipped it completely on its head. Trump administration had eliminated some $200 billion of annual regulatory costs that were saving, families some $1,500 a year per household in estimated savings. Which, as you know, regulations, Joe, those are costs that are passed on to consumers in higher prices from businesses. They're in effect hidden taxes that we're all paying for just waste. We don't get anything for it. It's unnecessary, just burdensome, onerous compliance and legal burdens upon businesses. And so we're trying to reverse that and say, hey, that the Congress ought to have to approve, that the bureaucrats ought to have a report where they report the regulatory burden of each mandate that comes down, just trying to have Congress reclaim that lawmaking power from the federal agencies, that they would have to give us a detailed budget of all regulatory costs, similar to the annual budget for taxes and government spending. So, as we both know, Joe, I get asked often, hey, how's it going there? I say, well, in all considered, it's going well. We're trying to do what we want to do, but except we're losing votes. And we know this, no matter what we propose, it's got a tough time getting to the floor, but we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep trying to expose the Democrats, keep making them vote against the amendments and the things that we're going to propose, and this is just one